Global Speakers Federation provides you as a speaker a great opportunity to learn and to network and to really increase your business. And today we've got a special treat for you. We have joining us right now from her offices in Vancouver, Canada, Cheryl Cran, who is the current president, and she joins us with a smile on her face. Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning.
It is early morning there for you. And also at this same time, joining us from her office in London, England, well, near London, England, is Lesley Everett. Lesley, thanks for being with us.
Hi, Terry. Good to be here.
And Lesley is our incoming president. So now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a first. Never before in human history, in the course of human events, have we had the president and the incoming president for the Global Speakers Federation. It's like da-da-da-da. It's kind of dramatic, I think, or at least somewhat. What do you think, ladies?
I think it's a little overkill, but we like it.
Okay. We Americans
go with it, Cheryl. Go with it.
So, well, I appreciate both of you joining us right now because we want to send this out to global speakers around the world that are out there. They're working and they're doing many things other than speaking. We're speaking, yes, but also writing. We're blogging. We're coaching. We're consulting. And we're in the midst of a world that, hey, here's today's, as we're recording this now on the 1st of October, 2012. Wall Street Journal says trade slows around world. We're seeing that right now as the headline. So we're saying, hey, it's not just in one country. We're seeing this happen in many countries. Canada probably a little bit better off than a lot of others because they did some things smart than we didn't do here in the States, and Europe tend to blow it there. But, Cheryl, we're going to look to you because you're Canadian and you're the current president right now. What do you see happening for speakers, particularly because of the economy, and what kind of things do you see working best for speakers?
I think globally what I'm noticing is the speakers that are doing well, regardless of headlines, on the shocking headlines on Wall Street Journal saying world trade slows, is the speakers who are focusing on being thought leaders are the ones that are surviving any global economic challenge right now. So they're experts, they're branded. They have in this time, I think, more than ever, we need to be thought leaders because we're being looked to for guidance.
Yes.
So, I think the global speakers who are focusing on being leaders, thought leaders, providing new and provocative ways for people to learn and grow, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yes, absolutely. I would agree. I think that in the midst of that, we see the headlines, and yes, that's reality, but the bigger reality for us is there's a lot of opportunities. For instance, you mentioned branding, and so, Lesley, we've got to bring you in on that. You work with branding. This is what you do with companies around the world and professional image and branding and how we present that. What opportunities do you see now for speakers on a global basis?
I think it's never been a better time for speakers who want to speak globally and internationally. And one of the key things is making the material and content absolutely relevant to business today, and also tailoring it to the brand of the organization they're working with. I mean, I do this as a matter of course because it's what I do, but I think it's what speakers need to look at themselves individually, whatever their topic, in making sure they're really clear at what the company vision is, what their values are as an organization, and making the content absolutely relevant to that brand. Because the biggest differentiator that any organization has today is how their people project their brand consistently. And if we can give relevant information to companies when we're speaking to them that really helps them to keep their people in alignment with their brand, then we've got something special. So there are great opportunities, as Cheryl said, and it's never been a better time to look at speaking globally and internationally if we get it right.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you because we're seeing that more and more. And what it means is a change in the way that we speak. In the past, we would say, well, it's easier to get a new audience than it is to get a new speech. Old Ira Hayes and the quote there. But I think today we have to continually create a new speech. An interview that we had with Global Speakers Federation with Alan Stevens and Paul Dutoit recently. We talked about that when Alan Stevens, a past president of Global Speakers as well as PSA, Professional Speakers Association in the UK, said we've got to go beyond the traditional ways of doing speaking where we just come in, do that speech. We get to know them. And that's really what you're talking about, Lesley, is get to know them so we can really customize and tweak our message toward what they're doing. Cheryl, are you seeing speakers doing that from your point of view, not only in Canada, but other places as you go around the world?
Yeah, I'm seeing that the most successful speakers are relationship focused. So they're not looking at a keynote as a one-time opportunity to go in and, as you say, Terry, you go in, you look for a new audience. That used to be the mindset of the industry. Now it's about digging deeper within a client base. If you are doing the research, and as Lesley says, you're customizing and you're really understanding the relevancy of that business, the next step is, what else can I do for you? Because as you said, Terry, when we started, it's not just about the speaking, it's about the consulting, it's about the articles that we can write, it's about the books we can write, it's about all the collateral material. And again, if we go back to the concept of being a global thought leader, you want your material. Lesley and I were at the German Speakers Association event just recently, and Graham Codrington was one of the keynote speakers. And I thought he's a really great example of somebody who is a global speaker. He's a thought leader. He continues to write. He continues to research. He continues to push the bar on elevating his expertise so that he can continue to add value to his clients. And he has repeat business, all the time, because he continues to add relevance, he continues to change his keynote, and he continues to write and create new thought material for his clients.
Yeah, of course. And Graham is one of those people, as a colleague of yours, Lesley, there in the UK. What do you see others doing in the UK and in European area that are adding value, they're going out and doing it to add specific value to their clients?
I think what I'm seeing most of, and it's happening to me and other speakers around, is that I'm very rarely asked to do just a keynote speech anymore. They want to know what else they can have. What can they have beforehand in terms of preparation webinars? What can they have afterwards? What can the delegates take away? I'm getting involved with a lot of global organizations, and I'm seeing this from other fellows within the PSA as well, in that they're asking to provide, the clients are asking us to provide a program of events that might consist of a number of keynotes, different keynotes, but also training materials afterwards, smaller workshops to go even deeper into the subject area, some one-to-one coaching as well for the executive teams. So I'm seeing what is happening, and this is what's being shared with me, not just in Europe actually, but internationally, beyond Europe as well, is that they're wanting us to go much deeper into the subject matter. And the inquiries I'm getting from emerging markets as well, from India and Pakistan and Russia recently as well, is proving just that. They don't want you to just turn up and do 1 hour. They want lots more. They want in-depth topic area and content. So it's what Cheryl says. It's happening a lot around us internationally, not just in Europe, but particularly in the UK, I'm finding it.
Yes, we're seeing that also in the States, and people wanting much more. And that leads naturally to the question I want to ask both of you about the role that technology plays in that. Because obviously it's very difficult, if impossible, to put yourself in all those places at the same time. But like we're doing right now, think about it. Here we are, we're tying in on 3 different areas, 3 different, Orlando, London, Vancouver, and we're all able to communicate. We're seeing each other, we're hearing each other, and as I like to say, I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to go ahead and pay for this call today because it doesn't cost anything extra. We are using Skype, and we're using the group video plan that they have, so it gives us the ability, and that is a premium service. It costs I think about $52 a year, US dollars, for that. So for the rest of the world, US dollars, it's really cheap because the dollar falling all the time. But that's a whole other thing. But I do want to ask both of you the role you see technology playing, and give me some specifics of what you're seeing that you're using or that others you know of are using and leveraging that technology to help others. Cheryl, we'll look at you first. What do you see happening?
Well, I'll tackle that from a couple of angles. First of all, I think that the fact that we're using Skype right now for this interview is actually, I'm seeing technology of this type being used as an adjunct to the other work that we're doing. So for example, I have a number of multinational clients who say, could you do a follow-up Skype call with our leaders from around the globe?
Yes.
So I see it as an adjunct. In other words, it's a value add. And for the speakers that are very capable of using the technology, I think it's a competitive advantage to be able to say, yes, we can do that. We'll do a webinar. We'll use WebEx to do a group session. And so it's not about technology replacing what we do, but it's about supporting it and adjuncting. And then from an audience standpoint, I've been using text messaging with my audiences in front of my groups. So and I do it old school. I have my cell phone number. I put it up on the screen, and I get my audience members to text me. And I'm finding for the Generation X and Y audience members, they are absolutely loving it. And it's increasing that audience participation. It's showing the technical reality of what we're facing. And I'm noticing that from my client base, they're saying that this is all what they're looking for, is to use technology as a tool that elevates the learning. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I like that. A tool that elevates the learning. Lesley, how about from your point of view? What I know I've seen you through the years as a person who's not really a technologist, but you embrace it, and you embrace it from a pragmatic point of view of what works. What are you seeing working today?
Well, I'm seeing, in addition to what Cheryl says, and I think that's a great idea, is getting people to text during the presentation. And Cheryl, that was a tip that you shared, and I've started to use. I think that's excellent. Twitter, of course, people tweeting in the course of the presentation and questions coming from that. That's great. But I'm just being asked more and more to do just simple webinars. So one for a big global technology organization right now, I'm doing one in a couple of weeks' time to a webinar presentation, which is a global one across their webinar software. So I'll just go into their offices, which happen to be down the road here, and that will reach their global audience of several hundred. I don't know how many. So I'm just seeing the simple webinar work as in addition to what Cheryl said.